Hey guys, my name is Mario for Cod Spirit and welcome to the channel. So today's video is going to be a follow-up on my last video. So my last video I was talking about my grandmother passing on and how I dealt with it and my thoughts and feelings on death itself. So so this video is going to be about, like, we went through the whole funeral procession and all that. So I just want to talk about how I dealt with that. First of all, if you saw about my last video, I don't see death as being a sad experience, right? So basically, these bodies are basically our vehicles, and it's not who we are. It's just our vehicles that we drive. Who we are the spirits inside these physical bodies. So spiritually, we cannot die. At one point, you'll leave your physical body for whatever reason, and you'll go back to the spirit world and do whatever you choose to do from that point on, right? So there's really no such thing as death, and so this is why I don't believe it's a sad experience. And as well as you gotta look at it is that if you still believe that it's a sad experience, think about the person that you care about that's moved on. That person right now, it depends what faith you believe in, but they're up there in the spirit world. They could be hanging out with their people that they care about that moved on. They could be hanging out with Jesus. I like to use Elvis, right, to make it kind of fun. So those people are looking at you right now, and do you think they're feeling sad, or do you think they're smiling right now? So if they're not feeling sad, what reasons do you have to feel sad? And if you're thinking, well, I'm never going to see them again, well, that depends on your faith, right? If you believe in the spirit world, if you believe in reincarnation, then one day you will see them again. Depending on who you are, you may see them tomorrow, or you may see them in 10 years from now. It all depends who you are, right? So the thought that you're never going to see them again is not real. You are going to see them again, and it's just a matter of time, right? So how do we deal with not getting emotional at a funeral? Because it's all nice to think this way, but our programming through all our past lives is that we is a feeling of sadness, the programming of sadness, right? So how do you change that? For me, I started changing this like when my aunt moved on, which was about 10 or 15 years ago. My thoughts was, I remember when we knew she was going to move on. She was on her deathbed, and I was thinking, how do I was thinking about asking her to let me know what the lotto tickets were going to be once she moved on, right? And I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to do that and not seem cold and asking such a question, right? But yeah, but so I didn't actually ask her that question. But in true reality, that's how I kind of deal by changing my programming, because the spirit world knows what the numbers are going to be. They know where money is and all that, right? And if we are prosperous, deserving beings, then we shouldn't have an issue of getting into this money. So I kind of look at it as well as that. Let's say, have you ever heard of those people that they go, oh, I wasn't going to buy a ticket, but I had a thought or I had a dream or whatever, right? Well, that's the spirit world. We're working with them. So I figured, you know what? Well, why not the people that I cared about that moved on? Why can't they hook me up, right? So that's the way I changed my programming. So at her funeral there, I was doing pretty good, but at one point I just broke down, right? So I was like in tears and all that. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm like, you know what I mean? But it was something, but that's inside you. That's part of your programming, right? So these triggers happen, and then you just like it's just happening, right? So one thing, if you choose to go down this road, and I advise you to, because it's not a sad experience. It's an honorable respectful experience, but it's not a sad one. But you have to be gentle with yourself and don't expect it's going to happen to just in one in one experience, right? It may take a few, but be aware of it and take the steps forward. So for me, I was aware of it. I took some steps forward, but I didn't go as far as I would like to. But I didn't judge myself. I said to the next time that ever happens, then I'll do better. When my father passed on, I actually did pretty good. The only time I really started to cry is when I had to tell people about it. If I was talking to the people that I already knew, I was good. There was never an issue. But for whatever reason, don't ask me why. I mean, like I'm saying, this is a lot of programming, right? When I had to tell somebody, then I would have to really work on my breathing, and then even that didn't work. I'd end up breaking down, right? But that's okay. I just said to myself, you know what? Just next time I'll just do better, right? So with my grandmother's here, I was happy with the way I dealt with it. I mean, seeing her at the hospital, actually stuck up for her at the hospital. When I saw her at home afterwards, when she was on her deathbed, I was fine. A few times I kind of felt it in my back, like the emotions, right? But I didn't like start crying or anything. I didn't cry once, right? And some people may think that's cold, but it's not true. It's like it's a lot healthier for you, right? And they're like, and they'd rather you not cry anyway. Um, so yeah. So when we had the funeral was done in two parts, and then like the viewing in the church was one day. Then she got cremated, and then we just yesterday on Friday. Today's Saturday, by the way, March or April the 5th. Yeah, so yesterday they brought her ashes to the graveyard and all that. It was that whole procession there. But yeah, I didn't really. No, there was no tear shed. Like I said, I kind of felt some emotions in my back a few times, but besides that, it was quite minimal. And basically, like for me, I just kept saying to myself, like, I would say $50 million. Because over here in Canada, we got the Lotto Max. You win $50 million. So every time things started to get heavy, I kept saying $50 million, $50 million, right? And I would say, you know, she's hanging out with Elvis, right? Like stuff like that. Or in my last video, I said she could be standing right beside me right now. Like she could be here right now for all I know, like right. So there's no really need to be sad. So basically, for me, I kept saying these kinds of things to change the programming, and you know what I mean. And that way, there you only have good memories. You honor and respect a woman. Like I don't know if I said in the past video, but this woman buried three husbands. And when I say that, means no divorces. She married three husbands. She buried three husbands, and she did not get a divorce. And in this day and age, people should be in awe of what this woman has done, because so many people these days can't even stay married. And then they're splitting up, and their poor children are like this, right? So, like, to me, most people should be in awe of this woman and what she accomplished, because that's pretty good. And she also buried, like, son-in-law and daughters-in-law as well. So I would think that's kind of hard on her system, right? But she did it. You know, she lived 97 years. I think if our medical system was a little bit better, she would have lived longer. But yeah. So at the end of the day, like I have, I'm very inspired by what she's done. So that's my memories and inspiration. And yeah, it's a lot better than being sad, right? So, but anyways, I'll leave it there. Just remember, it doesn't happen. It's not going to happen overnight, but I do suggest it, because in Ascension, going through the Ascension process, which is all of existence, is going through the Ascension. Sadness is not going to exist anymore, right? Sadness is just fear expressing itself in sadness. So that's going to be eliminated. So you're going to have to do it at some point or the other. I suggest you start now, make it all a lot easier for yourself. But yeah, but at the end of the day, I was happy with the way it went for me. I have fond memories. But anyways, we'll leave it there. Have a pleasant day, and we'll see you next video. Goodbye.